Hey guys, thanks for coming back to my channel. Let's talk about personal fragrance. A few fragrances that I'm excited and looking forward to wearing this fall. This is a video that's a long time coming because I've really just kind of been waiting on the weather for the right time to post this video. And really for the right time to start wearing these too as a seasonal wear. When you want to wear fall fragrances and you live where I live and you're kind of getting 90-degree weather, 100-degree weather well into September, yeah, it kind of puts things on hold a little bit. And it's not even that I haven't been wearing fall fragrances. I have things over the years that I've kind of just deemed as warm weather fall fragrances too. So I've kind of been getting into that, but I've been waiting, been biding my time a little bit with some of this stuff and a little bit heavier stuff, I would say, that I'm going to talk about in this video. So things that I'm really looking forward to wearing this fall. And of course, these are not top fall fragrances for me. Maybe at some point, some of these could be, or maybe even winter fragrances as well. But for me, there's a lot of reasons for a video specifically titled Fall Fragrances that I'm looking forward to wearing. Some of this stuff is brand new, 2023 releases. Some of it is stuff that I've purchased this year, but I've kind of just been waiting for the right time. Of course, I'm not gonna wear this stuff during the summer months, most of it at least. And some of it might be things that I'm revisiting that I haven't worn for a while. Let's start off with a brand new release too, a fragrance that was just released within the past month or so, and it's kind of caught a lot of hype. It's this one right here from Parfums De Marley. It's Altair. There's been a lot of comparisons with this one. Most notably, it's been compared to this fragrance right here, which is Mercedes-Benz Club Black. So I'm a huge fan of this fragrance right here. You can kind of see I've gone through quite a bit of it over the years. When it first came out, I kind of hyped it a little bit here on YouTube, so you can kind of see why I've been excited for this one right here. I was thinking maybe this might be a Parfums De Marley take on something like Club Black. I won't spend too much time in this video comparing these two fragrances, but I did want to at least approach it and kind of see where we're going here, see if I get the comparisons. I'm going to spray it on a tester strip here. That's interesting. Yeah, I've already smelled Altair. I've spent a little bit of time with it. This is not a first impressions for me. Interesting, the comparisons. I'm gonna spray Club Black as well. So here's Club Black. Oh, it's so deep, it's so rich. It's almost got like a sweet tobacco vibe to it. That kind of vanilla ambery feel. Let's go back to Altair. Nah, I don't see the comparisons. Not in the opening. Spoiler alert, I've already had both of these and worn them side by side before this video. But I just don't see the comparison. It's one of those things in the fragrance community, and even on Fragrantica as well, after a certain amount of time, enough people start to compare something to something else. Some people just kind of get it in their mind prior to even smelling the fragrance that, okay, it's going to smell like this or that. And in this case, I feel like that's kind of what's happening here. But I almost feel like you have to have a very limited spectrum with fragrances as a whole to come to the conclusion to compare Club Black and Altair with each other. While they do have vanilla, both of them, I kind of feel like that's just where it ends, right there. You know what though? Altair, First thing I thought of when I sprayed it on was, and the first thing it reminded me of was another Parfums De Marley fragrance. I feel like it has the house's DNA very much in it. And it's this one right here. It's Pegasus from Parfums De Marley. It has that same kind of initial opening that is kind of metallic and powdery. So with vanilla in both of them, but you're not going to find the almond slash heliotrope that you get from Pegasus. You're not going to find that in Altair. But certainly in the opening, you are going to find that very kind of sheeny, metallic, cold metallic opening. And it does lean a little powdery too. Vanilla is there, of course. That vanilla stays in the opening all the way to the dry down. But it really reminds me of Pegasus in the opening, especially without the almond, without the heliotrope. Still powdery though. I mean, it's still got a good amount of powderiness in it. I like it. It doesn't really go into Mercedes-Benz Club Black for me at all. No, not really at all. I'm kind of shocked by those comparisons. It's almost like, well, I mean, there's so many people comparing it to it. I guess I'll join in. I mean, I can't think of anything else. It's a weak comparison though. So Altair, that's one that I'm really looking forward to wearing multiple times this fall season, and probably going into winter as well. Another one that I did want to talk about is one that I kind of visited last fall and really didn't pay it much attention. It's this one right here from Bath & Body Works. It's Coffee and Whiskey. Now, I don't know, and it's kind of been bothering me, what is the concentration on this fragrance? I've seen eau de cologne online, so, but I don't know. It's not really been very forthcoming with eau de cologne. I don't know if that's for sure the concentration on this one. I also have the cologne mist in this one as well. Surprisingly, they last about the same amount of time. They have the same amount of power behind them as well. Strength. Coffee and Whiskey is one that I actually purchased in the candle this summer for fall. I mean, fall candles. And it's one that I liked. I liked it as a fragrance as a whole, but it's one that the fragrance itself just didn't feel like a home fragrance to me. It didn't feel like something I would really kind of use for the fall months. But this right here, this feels right. This feels really enjoyable. The coffee in this, it's not a real authentic coffee. I'd actually kind of consider this more along the lines of a dessert style of coffee, maybe a sweet vanillic coffee latte slash fragrance. That is really what I pick up from Coffee and Whiskey. I enjoyed the heck out of this one. The cologne mist as well, which I think is a good bit cheaper than the actual cologne. Look into the cologne mist if it's something that is intriguing to you. Perfectly unisex. If you're not wanting to spend the full amount of the eau de cologne, try the cologne mist. They really are almost the same exact stuff. The next one I'm looking forward to wearing this fall is a new to me fragrance. And it's new for 2023 too. It's Ralph's Club, the Elixir version of Ralph's Club. Now, I am not a fan of this line of fragrances. The Ralph's Club collection line of fragrances has not done anything for me at all until the Elixir. Let's spray this one on. Let's test this one out here on the tester strip. I've worn this one once already. It kind of felt like a winter fragrance for me. Ooh, there's an immediate iris, powdery, kind of makeup-y iris. But there's also a very modern DNA here, very mass appealing DNA to this. And one thing I noticed when I first wore this fragrance is a nice amount of smokiness here too with this. So you've got kind of that classic makeup-y iris that we've smelled before, mixed with a very department store, mass appealing, kind of along the lines of a really tonka bean heavy DNA that we would see from just the times that we're in, the fragrance style of today. That kind of very sweet, mass appealing sweetness. Bubblegum almost, but not really. Mixed with that iris, there's something just really appealing about this one. I'm a huge fan of iris fragrances. You're gonna see one in one of my top fall lists that I'll have coming up here pretty soon. I like that one. When I wore it for the first time, I felt like it almost leaned a little too heavy, especially for the weather that I wore it in. I might break that one out towards the winter months once it starts to really get cold. We're getting a cold front this weekend. That's really kind of what inspired this video. I was just ready to go head first into some of this stuff. The next one is also a new 2023 release. It's this one right here. I mean, you gotta love the bottle, or you gotta either really love the bottle or really hate it. It's Phantom, and that is from Paco Rabanne. This is the Phantom Parfum version of Phantom, and I've worn it also too, but I haven't really kind of given it much wear. I mean, I've worn it once. I think I've tested it out on my skin once as well. This is one that I'm still very much up in the air with as far as my first wearings, my first experiences with it. I had never smelled the original of Phantom, so I can't really compare it to that DNA. It's one that is, again, it's very mass appealing. It has a little bit of a twist with that mass appealing, but not the twist that I feel like Ralph's Club Elixir gives us, where I really feel like that kind of goes into the style of fragrances that I am drawn to. This kind of veers in the other direction, fragrances that I'm not real drawn to. There is a vanilla sweetness to this one. I'm looking forward to wearing that one mainly to really kind of decide how I feel about it. And the next one is from a house that I have grown to love over the past few years, the niche house, BDK Parfums. It is Creme de Cure, and this is a fragrance that gets compared a lot to one of my all-time favorites from Bulgari, and Bulgari Black is what it gets compared to. And I agree with those comparisons, especially once you get past that opening. Now, Bulgari Black is discontinued. It has been for a while. It's gonna fetch a pretty penny. You might actually be able to purchase Bulgari Black right now though for less than what you can purchase this. Comparisons though to Bulgari Black are very fitting. There is a very leathery vibe. I would say this one's a little bit more brighter than Bulgari Black is. It doesn't quite have that rubbery feel that Bulgari Black has. It's still kind of got that leathery, that sweet vanillic leathery feel to it though. I've tested this one out. I have not given it a full wear, but Creme de Cure, very unisex, I would even say. Men and women alike would probably appreciate that one and gravitate towards it. Another one, this one right here, looking forward to wearing this fall. I haven't really spent much time with it other than to kind of test it with some other fragrances that it's been compared to from Mancera. It is Fig Ecstasy. Now, I love fig fragrances, and this really does open up as a very milky, creamy fig. That's really kind of where it stops right there. When the opening reminds me of a very spring fig fragrance. Very milky, very green. There's been comparisons to, I want to say, Effing Fabulous from Tom Ford. In the dry down, the comparisons are worthy, I would say. It's not an exact fragrance, but it definitely has a reminiscent feel to that fragrance from Tom Ford. Of course, I'm a huge fan of that one. Also reminds me a little bit of a BDK fragrance, Gris Charnel. So that one, not the extrait version, the Eau de Parfum though. a little bit of a similarity too with that one. The opening to Fig Ecstasy, which is a very kind of creamy fig, is a little misleading once you experience it in the very opening, because this really does kind of take a darker vibe. Once you get into the mid and the dry down, it goes into a more leathery feel, a little more darker woods feel, a deep green woodsiness, similar to something like Hindu Kush from Mancera, but that type of greenery, that type of depth from the greenery. Yeah, looking forward to wearing Fig Ecstasy. Right up my alley, a little bit of a darker fig fragrance. And one that I was most excited about to wear this fall, and to even just purchase, not even really to wear this fall. I was just really excited about it. I'm a huge fan of this house. From Byredo, it's Eyes Closed. And this is another one that I would consider very, very unisex. I'm gonna spray this one on a test strip real quick. I've already kind of spent a little bit of time with this one, not a lot, not a full wearing for it. Oh, it reminds me of a couple of others from the house, especially in the opening. 1996 has that kind of same irisy amber, really heavy kind of irisy amber opening. And Bibliotech from Byredo also kind of has that same kind of ambery opening to it. This one's special though. This one, I know it gets compared to 11th Hour also from Byredo. I don't like that comparison, really. I don't like it at all, to be honest. 11th Hour is a very nice fragrance. It's got some spiciness along with Eyes Closed. They have a similar spiciness, but that's really where it ends for me. I mean, that iris is just front and center. A spicy, heavy iris. I don't even know if I would consider this, well, it's got some makeup-y to it, yeah. It's got a waxiness to it. This just has a really deep ambery feel to it as well. If you've smelled 1996, you're gonna know what I mean by that style of amber. It's not a real sweet vanillic amber. It doesn't go into a sweet territory from the amber. It goes into a not even resinous even, almost just like a very warm amber. Those spices really do play a big role here. I am really excited about Eyes Closed. It's probably one of my best purchases for 2023. I don't think it's a brand new fragrance this year. I think it came out last year, but still one of my best purchases this year. And that's Byredo's Eyes Closed. Really excited about that one. The last one we're going to talk about is from Serge Lutens. It's this one right here, Le Couche du Diable. Now, I don't speak the language, but that's loosely translated to the devil's bed or the devil's bed sheets. Look at the color of that juice. I mean, that is just deep. Almost like a whiskey colored juice there on that one. They nailed everything about this. I mean, from the color of the juice, from the name, presentation, everything. That, yeah, that's a winner. Le Couche du Diable. Now, this is one that, yeah, I wasn't going to wear. I've already tested it out, but I was not going to wear with the weather we've been having right now. But leading up to this weekend, yeah, I'm perfectly fine. It's a very heavy fragrance. What really stands out to me, plain and simply for me, this is an oud rose combination. That's really what stands out for me. Oud rose combinations have been done to death. It's not along the lines of something like Maison Francis Kurkdjian's oud roses. They almost kind of have like a bright sparkle up top in them. This is a very dark, deep fragrance. Labdanum is really, I think the fragrance note on Fragrantica that gets the most love is labdanum. I'm really smelling oud here. Needless to say though, with oud and labdanum, that combination, the dark woods, the deepness of this fragrance, the almost dirty feel of it is what stands out to me. And the rose here too, which I'm surprised the votes on Fragrantica are not very strong for rose. Rose is just one of those notes for me that when it doesn't stand out for a lot of other people, it stands out for me. Having said that, this really does kind of come forward for me as a oud rose fragrance. There's a lot going on here, but those are the notes, the oud, the labdanum, the rose. Those are the notes for me that really stand out for me. Very sinful style fragrance, very dark, very heavy. Not something, if you're a seasonal wearer, that you're gonna wanna wear in real high temps. So yeah, looking forward to wearing this one this fall and probably even this weekend. La Couche du Diable. So there we have it, guys. That's what I'm looking forward to wearing the most this fall. As far as everything I have in right now, I'm sure towards the later end of fall, I'm probably gonna have some other things that I'm looking forward to wearing. I will have my fall 15 favorites for 2023. That video will be coming up in the next week. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll talk to you soon. See you.